Hello. Hello, Mac friends. I love that intro. Hello, Mac family. Let's see. Can you guys hear me? Hello from Iran. Thanks for being here. Hola. Let's see if we can. Hi, Jaslyn. Fellow Macaroners. I love that. Okay. Hey, guys. Hi, Sweet Kay. Baton Rouge, hello. Luxembourg, Miami. I love all of these places. Thank you for coming. Hi, you guys from Texas, Romania, Venice, Pennsylvania, San Jose. What's up in the Bay? Hopefully you guys are doing okay. My family lives in San Jose, and a lot of them are having to evacuate, so hope you're okay. Baja California, hello, bonjour. Memphis. Hi, you guys. Thanks for joining in. UK, Georgia, Smoky, California, Northern California. I'm so sorry. Jean, was it Jean? Western Florida. The comments go too fast, I can't read. Hey, you guys. Belgium, Seattle. Oh my goodness, I wish I could see everyone. I know that would be overwhelming, but Wisconsin, Ontario. Hey, you guys. Saudi Arabia. Thanks for joining in. I am going to try to get this a little bit better. Well, New Jersey, Tampa. Or no, that was, all right, New Zealand. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, so let's see. It's 1 o'clock now from Iceland. Hello. I feel like that name was familiar. I don't know if we did a study abroad program together. The person in Iceland. It went too fast, I couldn't tell. Anyways, Moroccan, cooking from Tennessee. Well, hello everyone from around the world. I tried to do macarons for 20 minutes. So it sounds like you have a whipping the meringue issue. If you're using egg whites from a carton and your eggs are not whipping up, I suggest trying fresh eggs and make sure you don't have any fat in the bowl or in your egg whites. Atlanta, hello. Jamaican living in Florida. Sounds like a good place to be. All right, so I am gonna get started. This is going to be an experiment, per usual. We're going to be doing the French method still, but a friend of mine, Abby White from Bright Baking Co., that's her handle on Instagram, she shared with me, she took a class in Paris on macarons, and she shared with me the method that they did. And it was different than I'd ever seen before. Hey, Abby. And we had to try it. So we're going to try doing both the granulated sugar in this bowl with the egg whites and the confectioner sugar, and then we're gonna just mix in the dries of the almond flour separate. Has anyone done this method before? I'm interested in knowing. Abby, you don't count. But we're gonna do that as a method, resting and everything the same. But I did want to point out the different ratios of this recipe. So I'm not using the recipe she took during the class, because it was a private class, but I am using a recipe that has been published online by Bravetart, Stella Parks. This was a recipe I started out. I had the most success with this recipe until last year when I started doing an Indulge with Mimi version of my macarons. So there are basically two different ways that you'll see a French method macaron recipe. So you either have the confectioner sugar way higher than the almond flour. Hello. And in that case, when you have a higher ratio of confectioner sugar, you usually have a lower amount of granulated sugar in your meringue. And that's going to be it's gonna make your meringue a little less stable, having less sugar in it. But then I thought maybe since we're adding the confectioner sugar in, it would help it. So I'm gonna be doing the lower, that's why I chose this recipe, is what I'm trying to say. The one that has more confectioner sugar to almond flour, because we're gonna try to strengthen the meringue a little bit more by putting it into our whipping egg whites. We'll see. I don't know how it will go, but so the ratio of the almond flour, it's a 1 to 2 ratio. So you've got 1 part almond flour to 2 parts confectioner sugar. These need to dry longer. When you have a higher ratio with almond flour and confectioner sugar to be about equal, it's not as important to dry completely. They usually do better in the oven quickly. I'm not using my stand mixer today because I thought you guys could see better in my bowl this way. Yay, Susan's baking along. I wanted to use my stand mixer because this is a large enough batch of egg whites, but I really want you guys to be able to see, and it might make my confectioner sugar go everywhere, but I wanted you guys to be able to see inside the bowl. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So it is sweeter. I had to get used to indulge with Mimi's recipe when I switched because it is more almond forward in hers. But yes, it's a little bit sweeter, more like a Italian meringue method sweetness. French, Swiss, okay. So my whole thing here on these lives is just to experiment with you guys, to show you it's not about one specific magical recipe. It is about the method we use and what's best for our environment. So if this doesn't work for me, who knows, it might work really well in your environment. And it's kind of fun just to be exposed to all the different ways we can make macarons and just to figure them out and understand what's going on with them instead of just making them and saying, oh crud, they didn't turn out, I'm gonna try again. We want to understand the process of it, and I hope this is helping with that. Each week as we fail or succeed, we're learning something new, and that's the point of all of this. Love the different techniques. Thank you so much for being here too. Really quick before we get started as well, I wanted to say I sent out a newsletter and it had information about Zoom classes in the future. We're gonna do it in 2 weeks, Labor Day weekend. So Monday, when the live is usually, I'm going to try a Zoom class. It's only gonna be 8 people. So it's gonna be tight. If people aren't interested, then if there's not at least 5 people that sign up for this, then we will not have it. Everyone will be refunded their money, but it will be $50 per session, and I'll be giving, it's gonna be the recipe that I use on my channel. So that is not gonna be new, just so I'm totally transparent with you guys. This is more to be able to have one-on-one or 1-on-8 personal macaron making time where I can help you adequately and actually see your product. I'll also be giving 2 recipes for fillings that I have not shared on my YouTube channel. That will be probably a pâte à fouille, and maybe this time, since fall is coming, a pumpkin ganache. So those things will be, more information will come out this week about how to sign up. It will be limited, obviously, only 8 spots, but if they go well, I will increase the amount of time that I will do this and figure out, weekends, or try to accommodate for all the different time zones and everything. So we'll see, but thank you. I think it says, life is too short, eat dessert, and that has macarons. Yes, when I am baking, I will try to explain more about oven issues. Are you flexible with times? Yes, so the first I think I said 3 times I have the introductory price of $50. And then as I see if, I can adequately help you, if these are going really well, then I will make more times, and I will be, maybe even lengthen the amount of time our class is, our virtual classes. This is gonna be my trial period of figuring out what's working and how I can better help you guys. So that's that for the Zoom classes. I will give more information out. Thank you, Susan. Later on this week, maybe I'll send a separate newsletter or in a post on Instagram. I'll figure that out. And I'll share it in the description of this video. Okay, let's get started. Sorry about that. I always forget to say business stuff, so I just get it out of the way. Let me find the live so I can see what you guys are saying. Okay. 10 p.m. Okay. Another important question just asked, will I stop doing these live sessions? And I will not. My kids start school next week, so I will try to figure out how their schedules look so I can figure out my schedule. That's why I chose Labor Day, because it will be a no school day, so I can do my own thing before I know what their schedule looks like. And I'm hoping if people like this, I could do every other week a live, and then the next week a class, a class. If I have more time, I'd love to put in more classes and see more of you guys. I just don't know what their schedules will be. I have a kindergartner and a first grader, and it's virtual, so they'll be online, they'll be at home while they're learning. So I'm a little iffy on my schedule, so stay tuned. You didn't miss anything, Tina, just talking about Zoom classes. So let's get started. We're doing the French method with a higher ratio of confectioner sugar to help strengthen that meringue. And we're gonna add in our almond flour separately. So a different way of doing it than I've ever done it before. And so it's 72 grams of egg whites, room temperature. I left them out overnight. I've got 36 grams of sugar, granulated sugar, with 2 grams of egg white powder, just to help strengthen this meringue even more. And then I have, 115 grams of confectioner sugar, sifted. I sifted all this separately. And then sifted, I think it was 56 grams of almond flour. All right, let's do this. Someone asked if there's a name for this method. I would just call it French. From the person that gave me this method, Abby, it just said French macarons on it, French almond cookies or something. So French method, just a different way of putting all the ingredients together, because we're not heating anything up, so we'll see. Is it necessary to have egg white powder? And it is not. I suggest aging egg whites just to be safe. If you don't bother with egg white powder, you can add cream of tartar. It doesn't act the same way in your eggs. Cream of tartar will stabilize it, it's an acid, whereas egg white powder strengthens because it's a protein. All right, 58 grams. Okay, thank you. 58 grams of almond flour. I think I said 56. Egg white powder and meringue powder, not the same. Will cream of tartar help stabilize? Yes, cream of tartar will help stabilize. Do you egg white powder, room temp? Egg whites. Let me see. Do you age? I do. I age them at room temperature. The refrigerator it'll take on moisture in the refrigerator, and especially if you crack let me try this again. If you put egg whites into a container and put them in the fridge, it doesn't really do much. If you crack it open, the eggs could take on the moisture from the fridge. So if you separate your egg whites and then you put them out at room temperature with it cracked open, it will allow some moisture to come out. All right. So my last question to you guys is color. What should we do? We've got, for this, we could do dry powder color, purple. Or do we want to do like a sugar bean, Jaslyn at Sugarholic Girl, Sugarholic? Should we do like the 2 method? And oops, as I throw my toothpick. Sugar bean. Okay, so we're gonna do 2, yeah, Sugarholic Girl. Okay, so 2 colors. We can either do green and purple. I'm giving us too many. I'm like dropping everything in. Green and purple or teal and blue. I literally prefer to hate colors. I didn't see that one. Okay, let me see what was first. Okay, guys. This is taking me too long. Let's do teal and black. I can't figure out which one. Teal and purple. You want to do teal and purple? That's like mermaidish. Someone asked a question if I can show what the meringue looks like when you take it too far. And I did that on a live at the very end a few weeks ago. I will try to remember which one that was. If anyone knows, will you put it there? But I have showed that. Okay. I think purple might have won, powder colors. Now I'm questioning my life. Teal and black it is. Hi, yes, purple. Kim, it's okay that you said you hate me. I think the first person said actually dry purple. So we're gonna do purple. Please black. I've done black before. You can check out my black live. My black macaron live a while ago. Guys, I can't decide. Okay, so we're gonna make it foamy. We're gonna sprinkle in our sugar slowly, and then once it gets a little bit more like softy, whipped up and white, and this looks like it's completely dissolved into the meringue, we'll start adding our confectioner sugar, I guess, and then we will see. All right. I'm gonna bring you guys closer. It's looking like the sugar's dissolved. I'm gonna start adding my confection sugar. Kind of like royal icing. Too much. This cord is getting in my way. Last bit. Made a mess. Okay, I'm gonna turn it up this scoop here. So this is gonna be interesting to see if it gets stiff. I'm gonna keep going. guys might want to turn off your sound because this is gonna mix a while. So it's glossy, but it is not stiff at all. I think it did say in your notes, Abby, that until it clumps around the whisk, right? But I don't know if it's gonna come together. Okay guys, I think I'm gonna stop. Glossy, stiff meringue. Okay. Let's go a little bit longer, 1 more minute. Feel like it's trying. Feel like it's really trying to be stiff, but I think it's too heavy. I'm curious to know what your chef got, but we're gonna stop there And we're gonna try from here. Okay, so I'm gonna put you back down. Yeah, so I stopped here because it's still holding. You could see striations, and it's holding a bit of it's holding structure, I guess I should say. But with all that confectioner sugar, I can't imagine it getting much stiffer. So we're gonna go for it. We'll put our almond flour in, and then we'll add our color. Let's do this. Guys, I'm skeptical too. I wanna see the chef do this recipe now, Abby. I love trying this. Okay, so we're just gonna do, I'm assuming what we usually do, okay? I'm so nervous too. We're just going to kind of fold in our ingredients. And let's do 3 additions. I'm not gonna use powder because I went too far with it already. So I'm just gonna do a gel. We'll do our 2 colors. Okay, so I'm getting all the almond flour mixed in, and we are trying to not deflate too much. Sorry for the booty shot. All right, let's keep going with this. Around our mixture, kind of cut into half. In the middle, I mean. Get at the bottom of your bowl. All right. So, I feel like I would produce really hollow shells like this. I don't know. I don't know what this is gonna do. Okay. So I'm mixing around over, and I'm going to put in my colors now because I don't see any dry ingredients lying around. It's very white. If you're looking for a way to get really white macarons, if this recipe works, it might be good. It's flowy. Let's put our colors in. So black and teal. Just 2 drops. And then teal. Yeah, all the best wishes to all the mamas out there. Okay, so I'm just gonna swirl this like Sugarholic Girl, sugar bean, and just kind of get it in. If you guys haven't checked out Sugarholic Girl, she has her own YouTube channel too. And one of my favorite videos is she does teacup macarons, like 3D teacups. It is really cool. Just check it out. So I still don't do this very well. All right, I totally forgot that I wanted to keep macaronaging, but I think this will be the place where we stop. So we got some color swirled in, we've got some black and some teal. Let's put it in our piping bags and pipe this out and see what result we have, guys. Last week live or Instagram. Okay, so here we go. I'm just gonna show you guys. I know this is kind of messing it up, but it's gonna be marbled now. I wanted to show you guys the flow. So it's not breaking, it's flowing. Looks kind of promising, but it looks so different as well. So Let's check it out. Okay guys, let me get my silicone mat and upside down baking tray. And let's pipe out some macarons. Looks like marshmallow fluff, you're right. Abby, is this what it looked like at your, not sure. Guys, this doesn't look like it's gonna develop any feet. It looks way too marshmallow fluffy. Okay, what was my other question? Oh, I don't know how much it's gonna spread. So I'm just kind of watching my batter after I pipe it to see how much it spreads. It's very voluminous still, so it's not spreading much, which surprises me. Let's see. I'm gonna read your comments in a second. We're gonna let this dry and make sure it rests till it's completely matte and dry to the touch. Isn't it so interesting though? I used to always use this recipe, how just putting one more thing in the meringue can make it look so different. Guys, I don't know about this. I thought it would only take up one tray, but I might need to get another one. In the recipe, it also said to bake a lot higher than we usually bake in our home ovens. It said to bake at 320, and I know my oven, I can't do that. If you want to try that, you can, but I know that I'm gonna need about 290 for my oven. Well, we might be able to fit it all. How's everyone else doing with their versions of this? I really don't think this is gonna turn out. I'm gonna tap my tray. Okay, so mine did get stiffer. Well, that's good to know, Susan. So if I was more patient, maybe it would have gotten stiffer. Okay. I'm so anxious to hear how yours goes. I'm gonna pop these bubbles because I feel like I didn't macaronage enough, as I was so concerned about just the texture. It's just so wet. Okay, I will go put this over in a drier spot away from the lights to rest. I'm gonna turn on my air conditioning a little bit too. Alexa, what's the humidity outside?
Right now, the humidity is 45%.
45%. My humidity here goes down immensely in the afternoons. It starts around 70 to 80% in the mornings, and it will go down to 30 by late afternoon. I don't know if you guys keep track of your humidity, but it might be a good thing to realize the difference if you don't have air conditioner, to wait till it's less humid. Okay, I'm gonna go dry these bad boys if they do dry, and then I can read your comments and we can talk. All right, let's chat. Let me check out this laptop and see what y'all are saying. 69% here. Oh, is that low for South Carolina? How long will the drying time take? Great question, Medina. I don't know because I'm not used to using this recipe or method. If a recipe has higher confectioner's sugar, typically it does take longer to dry. When you have a higher ratio of almond flour, it can dry in like 15 minutes, even less. So this might take a little bit. We will keep testing. I'm gonna turn on the air just to hopefully speed it up. Okay. Yeah, Abby, that marbling technique, isn't it so cool? So I saw it on both channels, Jaslyn's, the Sugarholic Girl, and Sugar Bean. I keep saying the in front of everything. And I love it. It's so much easier than separating your batter and using 2 different piping bags. I mean, if you want the whole swirl, better to use 2 separate piping bags, but it's perfect for marbling. I don't know if you guys asked, but I didn't even say. I used Americolor turquoise. It's probably too bright to see. And then Americolor super black. So someone asked a long time ago about the ingredients. It is in the description of the video. It was 72 grams egg white powder. Half of that was the sugar, so 30, let's see, I wrote it down. 36 grams of sugar, 2 grams egg white powder, 115 grams of confectioner sugar, and 38 grams of almond flour. Sorry, 58. Keep saying 30. 58 grams of almond flour. The almond flour is half that of the confectioner sugar. What's the green you use for the pistachio ones? I used the Sugar Art powdered color. It was lime. Hello, I'm so glad you're here. Let's see. My comments are, and Audrey. Audrey, thanks for being here. Okay, I have a gas oven. I don't know much about convection ovens for commercial purposes. I've asked a lot about people's commercial ovens and I don't know much about them. They range, and so I feel like you have to troubleshoot with the company. A lot of the times they'll have a troubleshooting number to call and figure out your commercial equipment. Okay, let's see here. Can I dry these in the oven? Someone asked, Sakina, can you dry them in the oven as the sugar bean did? I would not trust it. However, I didn't trust the sugar beans recipe either, like doing it into the oven, even though I was told it works. So I would not do it because of the high confectioner sugar ratio. However, definitely worth trying if you do pipe a small, bonjour, small sheet tray of them and test it out. Sorry, I'm like coming in from Montreal. So I have had luck with both convection and conventional. Trying to think of the other word. So fan and no fan. You just have to figure out your oven. I do think electric convection would probably be the best choice anywhere. However, because gas can let out more humid environments in your oven. But that being said, you can always combat this with venting your oven. So I wouldn't just go out and go buy that if you don't have if you were gonna buy one. I don't want to recommend one specifically because what if it doesn't work and I don't have firsthand experience with it. But with my oven that I was living in that had a convection, I preferred that. I had less lopsided max, I had fuller max, and I enjoyed the fan aspect of the oven. Okay. starting a business. Someone said they're starting a business and they'd love more flowers. I feel like if you look around you in whatever season you are, you can be inspired by flavors and go from there. So we're coming into fall, you get an idea, just write them down, get inspired by, you know, the farmers around you, the products they're putting out, and maybe if you go out to dinner, a plated dessert you like. Pull inspo from everywhere and then just try things. Google apple buttercream and see what you like. I feel like as you search things and you see something, you're like, oh, that's not gonna work, it's gonna be too moist for a macaron. You can kind of gauge for yourself what would be a good filling in a macaron, and it allows you just the creativity as well to explore the flavors. And that's my favorite part of macarons, is exploring those filling flavors. I did a spumoni one last year and it was so good. Just some cherry buttercream, chocolate ganache, and pistachio paste, or pistachio filling from the video. It was delicious. I do not use mostly ganache fillings. When I was at the farmer's market, I did mostly buttercream. Escali, I think my brand of this beautiful scale is Escali. Okay, let me see here. How can you slightly change shell recipes do you keep confectioner sugar and almond flour and change other ingredients? So almond supernova, I feel like the main thing when you're looking at a recipe, whatever your base recipe is, you're gonna want to look at how much sugar is going into your egg whites. A higher amount of sugar, so like Indulge with Mimi's base recipe is a lot of sugar, granulated sugar, and that is gonna make that meringue stronger. Whereas this recipe we did today was only half of the amount of egg whites. So the sugar that's going into it is less, but then the confectioner sugar is gonna be more. So if you're playing around with it, just kind of play around with sugar amounts. You don't want to add too much sugar altogether and then have too sweet of a macaron. So if you're adding some sugar here, take away some sugar there, if that makes sense, and then adjust your almond flour accordingly so you have the same amount of dries. And that will be how you go about changing your ingredients. If you live in a humid environment, it's probably better to use a recipe with higher almond flour in it than this recipe. Do you age my egg? I aged mine for a night, but I feel like one night doesn't truly evaporate that much moisture. I use egg white powder instead. You could leave your egg whites out for 5 days at room temperature, cracked a little bit, if you don't live in a humid environment. If it's a humid environment, it'll take on some of the moisture. So you have to be aware of that. But 5 egg whites will not be bad. So the yolk is what spoils, and I've said this before, but I was working at bakeries that kept their egg whites in a bowl above the oven to like evaporate all the moisture, and it would get really stinky. It'd be there for definitely 5 days, but it was in a hot area as well. And it was just interesting to see it does condense down if you leave it out for a long time. I'm in England. Okay, awesome. I did my study abroad in England. So my children are named after English names. I love England. Okay, let's see here. Do you like parchment paper? I do like parchment paper. I love it for the fullness, but I don't like it for the not having a nice round circle. So there's pluses and minuses. My priorities are a nice circle. So I stick with silicone mats and not so much a completely full shell. I don't mind a little gap from my silicone mat. Vanessa asked if I will be making a video explaining how I work in a production for business. I could. I'll have to see. My next one is gonna be buttercreams and all the different types of buttercreams. Trang, are you the one that suggested that? I think you suggested that one. So that was my plan for the next one. And then I can think about more business aspect of things. I think the main thing when you're starting a business is being able to get a good system for taking in orders, writing invoices, and making sure that you can streamline, I guess, your production in the easiest way possible. Make a big batch of macarons, split it before you color it, and then color it 2 different colors, and you've got, you know, two different flavored macs already. Don't flavor your shells, just flavor in your filling, and it will speed up your process a lot. Let's see here. Yeah, so Josh said that he used a jam filling and cream cheese. Both of those are very moist and they will not last long. You need, if you're gonna do a jam, you need to cook it down more than usual. So I usually will cook mine to, I think the recipe calls for 106 Celsius to cook down my fruit. And when I make my jam, I cook it to 108 for, this is Celsius. Okay, 104 you do, I do 108. And it's a fine balance between not cooking too much and getting too much of a jam overcooked flavor. And you still want that freshness. So make sure you have some lemon juice or something in there. The acidity will help brighten up the flavors. Or a pâte de fouille will help, where you're using pectin to make it extra like jellied, I guess, gelled. If you've ever had those gummy fruit candies, pâte de fouille, those, if you don't put as much pectin, it's a good texture for your macaron shell and it won't leach out all of its liquid on your shells. Let's see. And cream cheese. I couldn't use cream cheese in my recipes when I was doing my business anyways. It's not shelf stable, but it does break down your macarons quickly. So if you use a cream cheese filling, I would recommend more butter to cream cheese ratio to make sure you're combating that moistness. Okay. What's the name of the gal who does the teacups? That was Sugarholic Girl. Thank you, Almond. Almond Supernova. Yes, Sugarholic Girl. Where did you get the metal trays from on the back? Where did you get the metal trays on the back? These ones right here? She does have great recipes. Bangladesh, thank you so much. Yes, these little quarter sheets, I got them at Restaurant Depot. So if you have a business, you can, for free, have a membership to Restaurant Depot. And they have great prices for all of your equipment. Really good prices. Okay, what buttercream do I usually use? Caitlin, when I was doing my work for farmers markets and out of my home, I had to use American buttercream. So I would, if you add like peanut butter into that, or freeze-dried fruits, or spruce it up with some lemon juice, then you're gonna make it less sweet, because I feel like American buttercream is too sweet in a macaron shell. So if I was limited, and I would use American buttercream, but I would make it a good one, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But I prefer a Swiss meringue buttercream or Italian meringue buttercream if I am just making at home. I love French meringue buttercream. Is that right? No, not French meringue. I prefer French or German buttercream, which has the egg yolks in it. There we go. And it will spoil quickly though, so definitely not the best to sell or to have just sitting around in your home. You want it for a specific event that's gonna be eaten all at once. when I sold, I got my boxes at two places, a local cake shop and supply shop in Pasadena, or three places called Jane's Baker and Chef. If you're local to the Pasadena area or La Cañada, that's where it is. That area, Los Angeles area, Jane's Baker and Chef is an awesome place to go. If you are not there, Paper Mart has good products. However, it's very expensive to ship. And my go-to for free shipping was BRP Box Shop. I think it was BRP, not BPR. BRP Box Shop. That is where I got my cardboard boxes. The oven dry didn't work, someone said. Okay, I need to be more patient with macarons too. I'm gonna go check mine, and I'm gonna see if I need to preheat my oven. Look like balloons. I should have set a timer to figure out. They are not dry yet. They're sticking to my fingers. So we're gonna wait a little bit longer. This is the bad part about a live. I'm sorry, we're waiting. So Joyce said that when she's, like I just said actually, when she's aging her egg whites in the fridge, they take on moisture from the fridge and they won't whip up. You need to age them at room temperature. Or if you just want to have them prepped for the next day and you don't mind using aged, you can have them pre-cracked in the fridge, but make sure your container is closed so it does not take on moisture from your refrigerator. Rana, your macarons look like balloons. You might need to macaronage more. Bin Bakery asked why I don't sell anymore, and that is because I moved. I'm only here for 2 years, so I'm kind of transitioning. Having your own business is to keep up with inventory and keep making your production is a lot, and I lost all my clientele when I moved a month ago, and it's just a lot to think about take on again right now, to rebuild a clientele, and I'm only here for 2 years. So I'm just kind of putting it on hold right now, and we'll see what happens in the future. Also, the rules in Oregon are different. I have 2 dogs, and I can't have them in the house at all if I sell here. So I actually cannot. I'd have to get a commercial kitchen to rent, and then I could sell. So those are the 2 reasons. It just seems like a lot of work right now, to be honest. And 2, I can't have puppies. I can't have my dogs. Yes. Secret to perfect feet, I could not tell you. I feel like there are no secrets with macarons. You just need to figure out your darn oven, because those are 90% of our problems, I feel like. Or using a recipe like this where I have no idea what I'm doing. But it depends. Some people love the ruffle. Some people love the straight, clean look of a silk pat. It depends on what you like. If you are not getting the type of foot you want, it's too small, rest longer, macaronage less as well. So rest longer, macaronage less. If your foot is spreading out too much, lower your oven temperature, decrease moisture in your recipe. If you have too big of a foot, decrease your temperature of your oven, or macaronage a little bit more. Those are a few things that you can do. If you can't find dried egg whites, don't worry about it. It's not necessary. I just recommend aging your egg whites then, and making sure you decrease the moisture in those, which in turn increases the ratio of protein to moisture, and it will create a stronger meringue. Someone asked earlier too, what is the difference between the Zoom classes and then the lives? It's simply that I'm going to be able to see firsthand what you're doing so I can help, and we'll go through it together. in a setting where we can see each other and build more of a community where I can not just guess what your problem is and I can see it if there is a problem. Lots of you guys are wonderful macaron makers that do not need any help, so. Yes, Oregon, I mean, I'm so confused because they have different laws, but yes, they won't allow my doggy. And California, you just had to have them out of the room when you were baking. And here, you can't have them at all, so. Annette said she just wants her hollows to go away, and I feel you. I get that, especially if they're a huge hollow. I have seen people, here's another method I have not done, but I've seen people put the meringue into your dry. So you do your French method, and then you put your meringue slowly into your dries. It's harder not to overmix this way, but I've seen, I forget what, I saw a long time ago a blog, and she showed the difference between, I think it was Indulge with Mimi's recipe, by putting the dries into the meringue and then the tester of the meringues into the dry. And it was completely full. If that's what you like in your meringue, it was a beautiful sight. And you might want to try that. Let me see if I can find, I'll just put in macaron ratios. So it was called the French, cakemerchant.com. Cakemerchant.com. She has a great blog from November 5th, 2017 on different recipes, or not different recipes, but on how she made her own recipe, I suppose, and where she pulls her inspiration from. And it's really cool, the different pictures she shows of how macaronaging differently helped her achieve a full shell. I haven't tried it yet, but let me see if you guys can see. So the purple one is how I usually do it, by putting the dries into the meringue, and the orange and the teal are from when she put the meringue into the dries. Yeah. Okay, let me go back. Someone said they tried the recipe and it was still sticking to the mat. You might need to increase your oven temperature for you, and hopefully that will make it so they cook a little bit faster and they're done by 20 minutes and you can pop them off easily. If you have troubles, if you're using your silk pat for the first time or your silicone mat, it could be also just that it's not, I mean, some people have said seasoned, I don't know what it is, but just make sure you wash it before you use it. That might help. And I also sometimes will pop my silicone mats into the freezer, and that will release your macarons after baking. If they're a little sticky, it helps them release faster. Annette, yeah, it was very, I mean, her picture is very telling, so we'll see. What could be the reason for soft shells? Could it be higher almond flour? So Sakina, I hope I'm saying it right. You asked what the reason for soft shells could be, and I feel like when you have the higher percentage of almond flour, you can't rest as long. If you rest for more than 45 minutes sometimes, at least in my opinion, I feel like my tops get soft. And they'll be nice and full still and everything like that, but it just breaks down your batter a little bit and it doesn't allow that nice sturdy shell. When you have lower confectioner sugar or higher confectioner sugar, I could rest, when I was doing the Bravetart recipe, I could rest for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it wouldn't cause any difference. So if you need more time to rest your macarons, try a higher ratio of confectioner sugar. I would have to go pick up my daughter at school and come back and just leave them resting. because I would run out. I don't only have like 2 hours to do all my production when she was in preschool for a couple of days, a week. So they could rest a really long time without any problems when there's higher confectioner sugar. What's the difference between stabilize and strengthen? So cream of tartar is a acid, right? It's going to work in your egg whites in a way that it's going to help stabilize it and create a, I don't know what it would do to the structure, to be honest, now that I'm thinking, like, how would I explain that? But it's going to, if it's stabilizing, maybe it's just making it able to take on the sugar more. I don't know, that's a great question. Strengthening it, but I do know that is the protein, increased proteins is going to allow the structure of the meringue to be tighter, and that's going to strengthen the meringue in that way. But I need to look up the stabilizing, like what scientifically is that doing. I need to figure that out. I did try Sugar Bean's recipe. I did, and I tried her method as well. It was fun. I would need to try it again, because she later came out with another video that said if you don't have an electric convection oven, to rest at regular temps instead of in the oven. So I've got to try that again and see what it's like. But when I rested her shells, I think we had issues. I think they were lopsided. I'll need to look back. This is where my notebook, my macaron notebook, needs to be right by my side. Your macarons all cracked. I tried to flavor with Ovaltine. Yeah, so Billy, that's really creative. I love Ovaltine, especially mixing with milk and using it as a soaker for my cake layers. For putting it into your macaron shell, maybe it's not the best idea. I can see kind of like instant espresso powder. It makes it too moist as well. And you could try sprinkling. I don't know how pretty it would look to sprinkle that on top, but with my coffee macaron shells, I would just sprinkle a little bit of the espresso powder over it. Not too much, because it gets too moist and it will crack your macarons, but just a little bit. And then focus on the flavor of your filling, and that will flavor your shells. I really can't stress enough, especially if you have a business, how much faster production will go and how much easier your life will be if you don't worry about flavoring your shells. Just work on your fillings and add a fun topping on top of your macaron shells, like pistachios. Add some chocolate drizzle after baking. For this one, just, you can have the same color but change the top look, and make a swipe of edible paint on one, and that can be different flavors and really speed up your production. What causes Macs to crumble? Even though they're baked perfectly. I don't know what would cause a macaron to crumble. I know that when I use a copper-based Teflon, I will have crumbly feet, but I've never had a macaron just crumble on me. So there's absolutely no structure to it. Is that what you're saying? What was the most hard recipe you tried? Audrey, is this, if that's your name, sorry, Audrey's Inspiration. Are you referring to anything baking related or macaron related? So we were asked, how do you know the percentage of egg white powder in your recipe? So I gave a general rule in my Macaron 101 that when you're doing egg white powder, you don't want it to be more than 3 to 4% of your total egg whites liquid. So I always multiply it by 0.03, and I use the lower end of the ratio. So In this recipe, the total grams of egg whites liquid was 72. So I multiplied that by 0.03 and it was 2 grams. So the batter in your Swiss meringue method is going to be more dense because you are releasing moisture out of the egg whites as you cook it up in the bain-marie. What makes macaron batter stiff during macaronage? So that I've heard a lot of people say that their macaron batter will not loosen up. I have yet to figure anything out besides the fact that it would be wrong scaling, that something in the ingredients was not scaled properly, your scale was malfunctioning, or perhaps egg whites were scaled before aging and you don't have enough egg whites in there. That's the only thing I can think of. If you want to use Swiss meringue method, you can, hello in Brazil. I'll say hello. If you want to use Swiss meringue method, just put in your granulated sugar, mix it with your egg white powder, and then pop it into your egg whites liquid all together, and then mix it up over the bain-marie. If you want to, Miriam, if you are trying to have a macaron rosette, do not macaronage at all. Just fold in your dries and do not deflate. My favorite recipe, I'm gonna say French still, and then I will let you know after this week. I'm gonna try the French recipe with the Swiss preparation one more time this week, and I'll let you know if that takes over. I feel like since I'm in a less dry environment now that I moved, that I might really like the Swiss method better. Let's see here. I missed some people. Oh, thank you. This apron is hilarious. It makes me laugh. It's my face on it, which is quite funny. But the company that does this is Hello Cocinero, and they make your personalized. They'll do. Let's see. I've gotten an apron from them. I think just an apron. Lit Mitts is the one that does. Lit Mitts. I have the same picture on there. Guys, I promise I'm not that vain, but it's fun. They're fun. This mitt is the most comfortable mitt I've ever had. If you guys are interested or you want as a gift to someone else, these are so freaking soft inside. I love this mitt. But anyways, back to this. Why do... someone asked if the French meringue method will break down faster. If the humidity causes the French meringue to break down faster, maybe. Oh, maybe you were talking to someone else at all. I know, no macaronage at all. I know, it's crazy, but it's gonna make it so your batter doesn't flow into a beautiful circle. It's gonna keep the peaks of your tip, and so you're gonna be able to have a shape of, the batter will keep its shape of the rosette. What's your favorite pastry aside from macarons? My favorite, croissant and laminated doughs are really one of my favorites, and then a Saint Honoré, which is just deliciousness. Inverted puff pastry, and then you have cream puffs around it as well with some caramel on top, and then some delicious cream in the middle, some pastry cream, mousseline. I don't remember what it was called. Oh, lives, my brain stops working. But like a pastry cream, buttercream mixture in the middle. It's my favorite. I love custards. Anything custard. I feel like I missed something from Bailey. Okay, do you have a code for the lip mints? I don't know if I still have the code for the lip mints. I'll put it in the description below if it does. It would probably be Baked Toujours 20 or something, but it's not like an affiliate code where I'm just want to specify I'm not profiting off of this. It's just a code for you guys. So I'm not trying to sell you guys anything right now. But I will look it up if I have a code still, Bailey. Rana asked if I have online classes, and I'm gonna start them up, but they're gonna be super small and trying to get as personal as possible so I can actually help people. So those are coming out soon, and I have not opened registration yet. Okay, checking my max. Thanks for the read. Preheating to 300. They are semi-dry. I don't know. This texture is so different that I don't think they're dry enough. However, I don't think they're gonna get more dry. So we're gonna go with this. When you went to school? Great question. What was my least favorite thing to make? Looks intense. My least favorite thing was all things chocolate. I dislike chocolate work. And I just would have, I had all this acne from just the touching the oils of the chocolate all the time. So I didn't like chocolate work or cakes, to be honest. But, you know, when you're working with sweets, everything's fun. It just was harder to wake up in the morning because it was like a 6:30 a.m. start. So it was harder to wake up on those days, especially in Chicago when it's, you know, winter time and you don't want to get out of bed. But for any breads, breakfast pastries, I was giddy with excitement. That was my very favorite. Breads, breakfast pastries. How can we register for your newsletter? I will put a link in the bio of this video afterwards. I'll write a note to myself, link in bio for subscribing. Has macarons always been your first love? No, it wasn't my first love. Breads is my first love. I stayed on at the school that I went to for pastry school and stayed on for an internship where I assisted the chefs, and I was the first intern, helped them start the bread program there. So it was so fun. Got to see chefs from all around the United States come teach different, from all around the world, teach different like Mexican pastries, Irish pastry, you know, like different types of breads from all around the world, naan and those things. So that was really fun. I feel like bread is the most nurturing thing you can make, things that fill your tummy, and it's one of my absolute favorite things. I don't make it here because I always get so disappointed without a deck oven how my bread turns out with no crust. So it's like one of those things, if you can't do it right, I don't want to do it at all because it hurts my heart. But there's so many ways. I just need to invest in a Dutch oven or something, but they're just all pricey. Oh, a panettone. That is so much work. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're speaking my language with that panettone. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see here. Challah, yes, we made challah. We did lots of things. Milfwheat, delicious. Yes, I've made that. Jeffrey Hamelman, yes. You can't get the steam. I might have his book. I've got a lot of bread books. I love bread. Okay, so sorry guys. I think I've missed some of macaron classes. I could talk about bread as well all day. Macarons and bread, perfect combination. So will I make more character macarons? I am debating doing character macarons next Monday, and that will be the next live, possibly. Something easy, something fall related, maybe apples, I don't know. Something fairly simple to start off with for character macarons. I typically preheat my oven till it beeps, and then I put my tray in. I don't like to run it too long and preheat it too long, because then my oven will jump up when I put my tray in. Pumpkin spice flavored. Ooh, do pumpkins? Is it too early for pumpkins though? I feel like it might be too early. It's so hot already still. What causes oily tops and concave macs? So, oily tops can be your almond flour. I suggest trying to dry out your almond flour in the oven, toast it up you don't want it to brown, you just want it to dry. So depending on how hot your oven is, you can do 300 degrees for like 5 to 7 minutes, or you can do 250 for like 10 to 12 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. When you start to smell it in the oven, you know it's done. Don't go too much further than that. Take it out, let it dry completely before you make your macarons. Do not try to mix hot almond flour with your confectioner sugar. It will be a mess. Another thing that can cause oily macaron shells, like blotchy spots, could be the coloring you're using. Make sure you're not using an oil-based coloring. You guys, I really don't know how these are gonna turn out, so don't judge me on this, okay? I think I'm gonna go get the tray and put them in. This will work. Shot. Subbing all the granulated sugar. Oh, did someone ask? Ooh, cannelé. Those are so good. Sorry, I'm like ADD in my brain right now. I've never tried only using confectioner sugar, and this is why I don't think it works well. I have had people ask me, why isn't my meringue getting stiff? And we've talked it out, and they say that they're using confectioner sugar in their meringue. And it just is, I think it's too heavy. But I mean, obviously we see a French chef doing it, so there's something I did, maybe my impatience or something, but I wouldn't recommend doing this. Let's see how it goes. When you macaronage by hand using Swiss method, do you deflate the batter? Yes, I do. Okay, my friends, it is dry to the touch. Here we go. They spread out a lot after they were resting. Dry, nothing's coming off. I always recommend, if you're testing your macarons to see if they're dry, don't go to the side that's exposed to the most air. You wanna go to one in the middle. So the ones in the middle are the ones that are gonna take a longer to dry. Like this one just came off on my finger. It is not completely dry. I would wait 5 minutes if I wasn't on a live, but we're gonna go now. So that's just a little tip. Check the inner bits. If you're doing character macarons, see, it came off. So probably wait. If you're doing character macarons, you also need to wait till they're completely dry. I rest them longer. Let's do it. I'm gonna put them in. Okay, so I turned my oven down to 275. And, sorry, I was reading a comment. 275, and I put it on for, what did I put it on for? 8 minutes. I'm so nervous too. I'm gonna need to reach. Yes, so Abby is the one, Abby White is the one that took the class, and this is the recipe from her class. And I mean, it was demoed in front of her, so we know it works. However, I don't know if I did it right. So Let's pray. Take a moment to say, dear Lord. I think he has more important things to do right now, but love you, Lord. Okay. Amira. Yeah, okay, let's see here. 316. Oh, Lee. Lee's trying to get more thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up. I have no idea about the YouTube algorithm, but I think it does help more people see it if we get thumbs ups. So give us a thumbs up if you like it. You have confidence in the recipe? Okay, me too. Mia, let's cross our fingers. Or is it Maya? Mia, Maya. You get a little giddy as well. Esther. Let's see here. Don't have thumbs up on my desktop. In God we trust. I love this. I love this group of people. Okay. I feel like I missed some people. Bailey, I don't know if you're still there, but you asked me a question a long time ago that I didn't see. Have you heard of honey and butter? So, is it Esther? She asked, have I heard of honey and butter? Yes, I have. They make amazing shapes, right? And character macarons. So fun to see what they come out with. My favorites, what they've done is when How to Train Your Dragon came out with the third video, and they did the Toothless, and then his girlfriend, I don't remember her name, but those were my favorite macarons. They were amazing. But it's a really fun account if you have Instagram to follow, Honey and Butter. How to start your own business. I do have some info on here. Oh, lucky. Yuki went 2 weeks ago. I have tried one there, and I'll let you, how did you like your macarons? So concave shells, back to the other one, I forgot to mention the concave. So in my experience, when I have concave shells, it's when my heat is not conducted well enough. So my temperature is too low. I've heard other people say it's when your temperature is too high. I have not experienced that, but maybe that's for an electric oven, or maybe. So things to think about is your oven temperature if you have concave shells. It's always happened to me when my temperature is too low. And speaking of, if you guys know what cannelé are, they are amazing. They are baked in these little tins. They're like custard baked in a tin with beeswax. If I am to purchase those tins and get the beeswax and stuff, would you guys be interested in seeing cannelés? Because that's one of my, that is such a good dessert. Okay. Let's see. Yes, so excited. Don't worry. Sorry guys, behind. Their macs are very strong and not too sweet and just perfect. Awesome. Yuki, so if you have a strong macaron from a character macaron, I feel like that's really cool. Macaroon, I think I said. Usually what you combat with resting extra long is having those fragile tops when you're doing character macs, so you have to watch out for that. When you bite into them or touch the surface. Okay, if French method macarons are crumbly when you bite into them or touch the surface. Oh my gosh, you guys, they're all cracked. Oh, it gives me a stomach ache. They're volcanoes. Okay, you guys can just exit the live now if you want. No, back to the question. So they didn't turn out at all. So maybe whoever had the stiffer meringue, let me know how yours turn out. Yeah, volcano macarons will be on my feed soon. Okay, I was here I was asking about a broken foot. So yes, I've had a few people ask about that, where the top just kind of comes off of the foot when there's a gap between the dome and the foot. So air gaps in between that dome and the foot are great. I don't know what would cause it to actually completely come off. It's a great question. I don't know if it's from maybe resting too long or not resting long enough. Yeah, send me a picture, Bailey, and I'll try to see exactly what is going on. Aw, you're here for me. Well, that's very sweet of you. Drink water. Wow, you're just taking care of me. Check your max, drink water. But I really do need to drink water, so thank you. Okay. Susan, your max volcanoed too. Mine are completely volcanoed, yeah. I put lava on them. Yes, let's do a collaboration. Whoever tried these today, make them into something crazy and we'll say, just do a collab of Max gone wrong. Let's see here. Yes, Annie mentioned that her tops have come off completely if she doesn't let them rest long enough after baking and they're still hot. They're definitely fragile there. So that's a good thing if you are having issues with your tops coming off, which wasn't what Bailey was asking, I realized, but I thought that's what you were saying, is to make sure they're dry completely before you fuss with them. The geoid one, I can't say that word. Geoid. Geoids. That's right, isn't it? Same here, still resting. Okay, you guys are more patient than I am. I wanna know how the resting ones are. Color your broken tops with gold. Yeah, we could do that. Let me flip the tray around. It's a waste of gas right now baking these. I get so mad, but can't blame it. I didn't get it to stiff peak, so we'll see. Well, poop. My oven's also at 350. Let me show you guys. Oh, you can't really see. If you can see here, it's at 350. See all the volcanoes? So my darn oven, I don't think they would have made it, even if it wasn't that hot though. Geode, thank you, geode. Geode. Okay, sorry. So I had no feet on them and they were all volcanoed. Abby, you do not have to say sorry, girl. This was fun to try. Very curious how they do it, because now I want them to work, but I don't think I'll try it again. With all the powdered sugar, and it worked out great. So Sue has done all powdered sugar, even in the meringue, right? Oh, Mayfer? Is it Mayfer or Maffer? You don't see the video? I wonder why it's not working. Or by the, yeah, I know, I want to know too. I feel like I kept the ratios very similar to the recipe in your class, so I'm very curious to know what is going on. I did not foresee that getting stiff though, but maybe I should have kept going with the meringue. Jade, if you don't have Instagram and you want to send a pic, you can email me, Nicole@baketoujour.com. Did you see, I showed the macs, did you see, Billy? Why do macs take so long to form a shell when you put them to rest? So someone asked why macarons take so long to form a shell, and it would probably be your humidity or recipe. So if you have a larger ratio of confectioner sugar to almond flour, it will take longer. Or if you have like excessive wetness, like vanilla extract or any type of liquid coloring, that's gonna take longer to dry. And if it's wet outside, raining or humid. Okay. I do not have less sweet or less sugary recipes. I've tried a few and they tend to be completely hollow when you mess with the sugar. Ooh, I like where you're going with that, Maddie. I am having connection issues. Yes, cannelé. Yes, I did say cannelés. I was wondering if anyone would be interested in seeing those. If I were to get the tins, you need like the good tins. You can fudge it a bit and use, I think they have even silicone molds for them, but I feel like it wouldn't be the same without the tin. Okay, looks like people are interested. That will be fun. Okay, your macarons are always volcanoes, but they were hollow. Esther, make sure your meringue is stiff. It's gonna help you have a nice strong meringue and a strong shell. All right, I will let you know, Bailey. Let's see here. Do you think maybe you could make a PDF of the ingredients and rough directions to maybe put in the newsletter? Almond Supernova. For the PDF of the ingredients, do you mean for this recipe we just did today? Or do you mean for the normal French method I use? Because that will definitely come with your course if you take the class. How long can your batter sit in a piping bag, someone asked, and it is dependent on your recipe. If you do Italian meringue method, you can have it sit out longer. I've never tested for too long. I'd say a half an hour at most. In my opinion, I would be nervous still. I don't like batter sitting around, but with French method, I would not give it too long. I'd say 10 minutes maybe. I haven't played around with that, so that's without testing it. If you go to this recipe. So Jen, are you saying, could you try this with Swiss method, putting the confectioner sugar in with your egg whites and then doing it with a heat process and adding another method into it? Oh yes, you want to see the accumulated macarons? Sure, I can do that. They are not that bad. They have no feet. My Macs, they have no feet. Do it. No, don't do it. Yeah, Abby's like, don't do it. I would not recommend the confectioner sugar in your meringue. That is only doing it one time, but I just wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend this recipe though if you don't live in a humid environment. This recipe is great, just regular French method, not putting the confectioner's sugar in. I love this recipe. Let's check it out. Yeah. Okay, I popped one off. Here we go. Volcano. Came off the soap pat, but I want to see what's inside to see if it's done. If you want to sacrifice a macaron, you can do it this way. I usually just push down, but since these are not worth keeping, like for, so they're not even really that full. Whoops, I dropped it. But there, you can see in here, yes, your meringue, when it cools, it will, when your meringue cools, it will become stronger, obviously. But if you see so much liquid inside, you know your other meringue, your other macarons need to bake longer. I cannot talk. Okay, so if you sacrifice one of your cookies, you can break into it. It will show you if you need to bake a little bit longer. I don't recommend this, but if you are having a lot of trouble with baking, then you could try that out and just see what's going on inside and then leave the rest of your macarons in. The inside structure of your meringue will solidify, so you have to take that into consideration. But if you see a ton of moisture, you know you have to bake longer. Hopefully that makes sense, because my words are not coming out now. Tastes good still. For having only half almond flour, it still tastes almond floury compared to the confectioner sugar. I don't find it too sweet. It's sweet, but so is every macaron shell, right? So if paired with something that's not as sweet, it's gonna be just fine. So the recipe itself is good, which we knew already. They're just ugly, so. The chewing sound. Oh my goodness. Okay. Have you ever attempted trying macarons with aquafaba? No. Marie, I want to try vegan mac so badly. If you're really interested, like right away to learn about them, Pies and Tacos has, I was making sure it was plural. I think it's Pies and Tacos. Plural has a YouTube channel, and she does, it's Camilla, she does vegan ones. And I really like her channel as well, so you can check her out. Abby, I don't know if I'm willing to do a live on vegan ones. I hear they're a beast to deal with, but maybe we'll do that. That would be fun. I'm always willing to put myself in an awkward position. No, that sounds weird. I do questionable things, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm done. I love Pies and Tacos channel. Yeah, Amanda, she's awesome. She's just a wealth of recipes and knowledge. I really enjoy her photographs as well. That's amazing. Okay, do you have online classes? I'm starting them up. They're gonna be super limited just to see how they go. I want to be able, I don't want a large, like Facebook Live is what a lot of people do these days. I'm gonna let those go one more minute. And I want to be able to see people, because I feel like I do these already, right? And I show you guys a lot of stuff on my channel, but I want to be able to switch it up and be able to see you and help you. So who are you? I'm Nicole. I'm Nicole Berry. But yes, so Zoom classes, I'm gonna do some trial runs throughout the month of September, and we'll see how they are, if they're worth it, how we like them, and then we can continue on if people are interested. I don't want to just do macarons either. I'd love this to be something more. I can't always get videos out. They take me a lot of time to edit. So being able to have a class on a product that I haven't shared on my channel would be really great too, like cannelé or like puff pastry in general and almond cream, and we could make a pativier. Stuff like that. Everything I've learned, you know, from pastry school, my favorite things I'd love to be able to share, because I want everyone to enjoy these treats. I don't know about you guys, but before I went to pastry school, I was not exposed to a lot of French treats. I was from a small town, and just exploring the whole pastry avenue has been the coolest part of my career. So we'll see. If you don't think I store my Macs right away. Majestical. Hi, Zena. Oh, I should take these out. Let's see. Laminated dough would be really fun, but that's super long. Success! No, I'm totally joking. These are our volcano macarons for today. Did not work. So no feet, all broken right away. Okay, well, if you guys are interested in croissants, then it will have to be like a 2-day class, if you guys are willing for that. Can you recap this method recipe? Yes, I will recap. Let's see here. So what we did here is we took a recipe very similar to one that Abby took in France, and it had a larger ratio of confectioner sugar. So I tried to get a recipe that was very similar to that was public. So we used that. We used the method they used in France in this specific French kitchen. And it was putting the confectioner sugar into your meringue and whipping with that as well as your granulated sugar. And then it became very glossy. It took a very long time to get stiff. It wasn't stiff at all. I didn't wait long enough, if possible. But Sue tried and she still had Volcano Max, so I don't know. So either way, we mixed the meringue till it was really glossy and it held a shape, but it was in no way a stiff peak. I added the almond flour in separately, and we did a marbling technique that I've seen on Sugarholic Girls page and the Sugar Bean. We just put in your 2 gel colors, toothpick that around, and it gets a really pretty, like the shell colors are beautiful. That's the one win today. I had an internal struggle on choosing because I couldn't figure out who said what first. But if you look at the coloring, it's so pretty. If they would have turned out, they would have been beautiful. Then we let them dry completely, and they were still a little iffy on the inside, but that has nothing to do with the cracks because some of them were completely dry, and they would have kept the top on some of them if the drying aspect was it. They're not even super full inside. I don't know where the batter went, to be honest, because there's no feet. So it's quite a predicament we have here. I should let them cool so you can see but they're so interesting. No, look at, like, from the bottom, they are empty. I mean, I guess that's why it pushed up and it's volcanoed, but either way, it didn't work. If you wanted to try this method, you could and see what happens for you. I suggest going even further with that meringue, seeing if it does make a stiff peak, and then keeping your oven lower. My oven jumped to 350 Fahrenheit, which is unfortunate. But yeah, anyone have success? Some people have done this. Well, they're doing it now. Sue, I think you said volcanoes as well. Anyone else? Bailey, this is the fun part, right? I mean, I would love to have a final product, but that looks good. But like, what if we got super full, beautiful Macs like our French method with Swiss, with a French recipe with Swiss method? Like, we could have been geniuses and started making gorgeous Macs nonstop. I don't know. I feel like French method is the best, but I still want to keep trying. Okay, I'm trying these this week. Good, Abby. Let me know what your result is. Tell me if it's the same as mine, please. Are you using convection, gas, or electric? I'm using gas and conventional. No airflow. I do want to tell you guys that both no, I think we had 2 different recipes. We had an Italian and a French at the schooling that I went to, pastry school. And neither of those worked in my home kitchen either. So that could also be it, Abby. Maybe it's just the ratios in a home kitchen. Like Abby said that they were in a temperature controlled and humidity controlled kitchen when they were baking these in Paris. So perhaps it's just the environment as well, and you know, we need to switch it up for a home kitchen and try it. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't like the French method. Yeah, that's what is the best thing about macarons, is there's a few different ways to make them, right? So if the French method doesn't work for you, it's a perfect thing to try the other methods. No success for, is it Polly? I feel like we talk a lot and I never know how to pronounce the name. Or is it Pauline or something that you're not having the end of your name? Polly? Thank you for joining in. You're amazing, Zena. Try out Zena's recipe if you like Italian method for that Maffer MC. Try Zena's Italian method. Okay, let's see here. Are you gonna fill the macarons with a filling? Oh, I will not waste my filling on these macarons. They would look kind of funny. Oh, I shouldn't ruin them all, huh? Honestly though, like, I just ripped off one. All of the filling got pushed up to the top. I'm gonna have to kind of think on this one a little bit and figure out the inner workings. Okay. Why always French method macarons? The result is getting hard shells with. Shame. So I would think that the French meringue is hard with, if you are having a hard shell, it means you have a nice stiff meringue, but you're having hollows. So you might have to deal with either it's resting too long and settling at the bottom, or you could be at too high of a temperature. There's so many different things that can go into hollow shells. There's the word. But for Italian method, softer. I feel like it's in general like a cakier macaron, and I feel like you even, let's see here, you get, but with Italian or Swiss, you both get soft for both Italian and Swiss. Swiss method I haven't run across having a softer shell, but Italian I do feel like it's not as sturdy, just probably because of the way that it's processed. I'm running out of energy. Sorry guys. Let's see here. I eat glue too. I really don't, but I'm glad you shared that, and I hope you get help if you need it. Okay. Pull. So Esther, if you scramble your egg whites, I'm gonna answer like 2 more questions and then I'll peace out. So if you're scrambling your egg whites with the Italian method, I recommend making sure that they are nice and foamy before you add your syrup. That will help. And as soon as your sugar syrup gets to the right temp, take it off the burner and let it settle. Let the bubbles just settle. Not like for minutes or anything, just for a second. Like give it 10 seconds, settle it, and then pour it in. It might help. And make sure your whip is on fast, medium high speed. Bones, oh, is it nighttime there? Bonsoir, I can't, my pronunciation. Good night is what I want to say in French. I know, like, désolé, je ne comprends pas. Because that's all I said when I was working in France. I'm sorry, I don't understand. I don't even know if you guys can understand that, but okay. I'm getting goofy, you guys. You are welcome, Dora. Thanks for joining in. You guys are awesome. Much love to you guys. Let's see here. What's the best method? Everyone has their own method that's the best for their environment. I love French, and I might change to French and Swiss together, a little combination, because I'm a lover of all. So yes, I'm sorry I can't read faster and get to everyone's questions. Zena, much love to you, girl. Paul, thank you for joining. Kevin, always good to see you. Dora, thank you. I really hope you don't feel like you need to do that every time. You are so generous. Thank you very much. You guys rock. Thanks for the fun Monday. I look forward to these, and I just love talking to you guys, and I'm excited if we have interest to actually see each other in a Zoom class. So if you haven't signed up already for the newsletter and you want to know more about the possibility of Zoom classes in the future, or virtual macaron and other pastry courses in the future, I will put a link in this video right after I hit stop, and it will give you a landing page to sign up for my newsletter. So go ahead, put your email address in there, and then you'll weekly be subscribing to my newsletters and all the content I give out there. Okay, so you didn't get the newsletter today. Okay. Did you sign up for it before? Did you have your email? Did you sign up for it before yesterday is what I'm trying to say, or Sunday? Yes. All right, I'm gonna look you up and I will send it to you manually. Thank you for letting me know. All right, so I will look you up and I will send that email over to you right now. Oh, thank you. Well, that helps too. I'll make sure that you have you approved your subscription as well? Because there's also like once you put your email address in, sometimes you have to approve that you really want to be subscribed to this weekly email. I overbaked mine. Yeah, did yours, I forget, yours volcanoed, right? Okay. LYFJA. Okay, I will email that to you, okay? And look forward to Mondays. Thank you for joining, you guys. Oh, you did regular method. Okay. I'm sorry. That's a bummer. You can, if you have overbaked shells, go ahead and you can make a simple syrup, or if you don't want it to be extra sweet, you can do a little bit of brushing some milk over the bottom of your shells, and just to soften them up a little bit. If they're not too browned, you can maybe save them. But I feel like the tops can get too crisp and then they just completely break on you. Someone asked about crumbly macarons. Maybe you're over baking them. Maybe that could be what you mean by crumble. Like they just don't have any chew in the middle. It could be over baked. Yes, thank you guys for tuning in. Much love to you guys. It's so fun to watch. Oh, Jen, thanks for tuning in. I feel like I embarrassed myself a little bit today, but this is good. I enjoy being with you guys. Thanks for all your fun comments, engagement. I love it. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Have a wonderful week. Hello, Mrs. Carter. Okay. Thank you. I taught you guys how not to make meringues today. So that was my goal. No, okay. You taught us so much. Well, I'm glad you're here. Thank you, Lee. Bye, you guys. Thank you.